Oh, Steve.
We are live.
Hello. Now let me play with Discord for a third time to change
Me
the
too.
audio so I don't hear him twice. Yes, I need a script for that. I wonder if Keyboard Maestro could do it. Maybe. So I like Keyboard Maestro and I've tried it, but every time I use it, something seems to go wrong. It works for a while and then it stops. I don't know why.
All right.
Okay. You want
One
my
voice.
brightness turned down now, don't you?
A little bit, if you can.
All right.
You're a little
Let's
washed out.
see. There we go. Let me bring it down a little bit. Bring the brightness down a little. How's that? Is it better?
Yes. Right on.
Okay. I'm going to close the door because I hear you twice.
Rose.
All right. We have a massive show today, so we probably have to get started, actually. Quickly.
Yes, we do.
I'm going to take roll call. And we have for certain Mike and Brett and Dave and Jill and Marty. Hi, Marty. And Rose and Rick and Sandy. And Kevin said he'd be late. And Steve bringing up the rear there. Who else we have? Dorothy, I think, is in this. She was in the sidebar. There she is. Nuclear John. Let's see. Who else we got here? Ooh, Average Wine Enthusiast is in here twice. That's how excited he is. I don't think Beiju's really here. And I don't think Bleep Nick is here. Headphones. He hasn't been here in a long time.
He was here last week for a moment.
And Nassanut. He was?
I think he poked in, yeah. So about the shirt, it's actually from
John's having flashbacks.
Yeah. The one of the press events, the second one, PepCom we went to, was themed 70s or 60s. So they had like Volkswagen bugs and tie-dye shirts and where's my necklace?
I don't know. I gave it back to you.
Okay.
Can I interrupt you for a moment?
Sure.
Rose is in the Everyone Can Talk channel. How did she do that? She just left. How did she do that, Steve?
Well, you can get in there, but I don't think she can talk.
No, she at first she didn't have her mic muted.
Really? I didn't hear her.
I know, she was behaving herself. I don't know how you guys can't go into the Everyone Can Talk channel, can you?
You just invited everyone to try that. There's Jill. See the mic? It's still a muted mic. Well, Brett's
yeah, but look at Brett. Brett is not a muted mic right now.
Brett, go in there and see if we and try to talk. I don't hear Brett.
I can't hear him. Jill's in there, but she's muted.
Now Brett doesn't show the.
Dorothy's muted and has her headphones muted, so I don't know why she's here.
So Brett is turning green as if audio is being sensed by Discord, but I don't hear him.
Yeah, maybe it's just an error that it's not showing the muted mic.
Yeah.
I've gone over there to talk to other people. It works. Rick, you're saying you can go into... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. That's the Everyone Can Talk channel. Duh, that's the one where everybody's supposed to be able to talk. I was thinking
I'm in the wrong one.
Yes, that's okay. What it is.
Okay.
That's what confused me.
I was in the wrong one. No.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
That probably caused some other people to go over there. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So,
that happened when I restarted Discord. It put me in Everyone Can Talk. Interesting.
Okay, so that's why I wasn't confused like I'm an idiot.
That was me.
Right? Okay. I need to write a couple of things down. Hang on one second, and I will be. Go ahead and entertain the crowd, Steve.
So, anyway, a 70s themed thing. They had people in kind of, I'll say, hippie style clothing, long hair, what else was, and they had some nice, what do you call them? What do you call these things? You put a drink on.
Peace symbols. Oh,
a peace symbol?
Well, no, I thought you were talking about your peace symbol necklace. Coasters.
Yeah, they had peace symbol coasters, and it was fun.
I am trying to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Thank you, coaster.
Who am
So
I
do peop-
forgetting? I
so
got to
do-
make sure I call out everybody we met up with, Steve.
Would people call
Sandy,
this?
Shy, JF, Lila, Dave Ginsburg, Dave Hamilton, John F. Braun, Chuck, and Norbert. I'm missing 2 people.
Did you got Chuck and Norbert? Okay. Oh,
I said Dave G.
JF,
Yeah.
JF's
Who am I
daughter,
missing? Lila.
Lila. Did you get Dave G? You got him, right?
So we had 10 people. Oh, we had 9 for the reservations for dinner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, that is everybody.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I need to start because this is going to be
Yeah.
like a million hours long. Okay, let me do a quick test. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com. Okay. I think you guys like that a little lower.
Stubby
And-
holder. That's not what it's called.
Hi,
That's
this is
an,
okay,
that's an
not
Aussie
right.
term.
What's going
Thanks,
on?
John. British flag. It's actually Australian, but there's some similarities.
Oh, I
What?
gotta do this. See this? This is what I'm using to block the sound of the fans from my Mac so that you can't hear them.
I don't hear a thing.
Okay, why am I barely... My mic input is low. Why is that?
Yeah, is it as close as it is normally to you, to your
Yes.
mouth? Okay.
Yes, it is. Okay,
Oh,
let me do another
got it,
test
Rose.
recording.
Thanks.
So you're saying I'm low in volume on for you, Steve?
You sound better now.
Hmm.
You sound good.
Okay. Have you turned down a little bit? All right, let me try this again. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com. That looks good. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast. Still not very loud. I guess I have my volume turned down. I can hear that. Yes. I'm going to stand it up even higher this way. It's going to fall. You really can't hear that?
No, I hear my fans.
No, it's too much. All right, here goes. Muting Steve. I assume everybody heard playback. Okay, she can't hear the fans. I can hear it. It sounds horrible. All right. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, January 12th, 2020, and this is show number 766. Well, we're back from CES, and as a result, we have a massive, massive show for you. Before I get into that, I'm really trying not to just brag about how much fun we had, but we had so much fun at CES, and we saw a whole bunch of Nosilla castaways. We saw Sandy and Shy and JF Brissett and his daughter Lila, Dave Ginsburg, Dave Hamilton, John F. Braun, Chuck Joyner, unfortunately, and Norbert Frasso to as a palate cleanser for talking about Chuck. Anyway, we had a great time. We hung out with everybody and really had a blast. But I'm not going to talk about that the whole time. Now, my goal at CES is not to cover the giant TVs or car tech or any of the big stuff at all. You've got, the CNETs to do that. I look for things in several categories. I look for things that solve a problem that might be unusual. For example, one of my favorite things I found was a smart lobster trap. That's a teaser. You're not going to hear that interview for a little while. I also look for the super practical, you need to buy this thing right now kind of device. If I see something interesting in the accessibility category, I'm going to be all over it. Finally, I'm not shying away from things that appeal to the female audience. I couldn't quite get myself to do interviews about smart makeup mirrors, but there are some interviews here and there that are for the ladies. Steve produces all of the interviews as video so you can see these things in action, and then he exports the audio for the podcast. Now, we don't want to swamp out the normal content with too much of CES, so we'll be parsing these out probably around 4 per week, depending on their relative lengths. It's hard to decide the order because so many of them this time are fantastic. As I say each year, Steve puts a tremendous amount of work into these videos, and my life gets significantly easier for the first few months of the year. I should say that we had one interview that was horrible, and we're just not going to play it. It was I think, a dumb product. The guy couldn't explain it very well, and his demo didn't demonstrate it at all, but at least it was really, really expensive. So I'm not going to play that one for you. All right, this week we're going to have 4 of those interviews, and I'm going to intermingle in a recording from Kaylee that sets up one of the interviews. And we've got a review by Alistair Jenks. And as if that is not enough content, we've got security bits with Bart Bouchatz this week. So go find yourself some heavy traffic to sit in, or maybe mow the entire back 40 like you've been meaning to for a long time, or book maybe a transoceanic flight, because we have enough content for all of that. This week's Chit Chat Across the Pond is with Bart Bouchatz, but it's a light episode, not an installment of Programming by Stealth. Bart returned to the light feed to give us an update on the health tech that he's still using and the new health tech that he's purchased recently. Of course, bike tech fits into the health category, as cycling is what's helped him go from an overweight young man with a weight-related critical condition to a very fit and healthy young man. From there, he talks about more traditional health tech, such as blood pressure monitoring, sleep monitoring, thermometers, and more. You can find this episode in your Chit Chat Across the Pond light feed. And as always, you can listen over at podfeed.com. Okay, I'm going to put a chapter mark back here. I might save, even though Kevin's not here. Oh, who's in charge of telling me to save?
I think that falls on Rick, if you don't mind, Rick.
Rick is next. Okay.
Except I think Kevin's here.
Kevin's here. Oh,
just
man.
In the nick of time.
All right, there we go.
That's good.
Nice.
Good timing, Kevin.
Let's see. So this is going to be copy link. Gab on APFS. That there, and I'm going to do this title here. I'll put that there, and I'm going to get rid of the period at the end. There we go. And then here, I'm going to do another chapter mark. And this is going to, never mind. Okay, those are in the wrong place. This one here, this one goes here.
Meantime, I'm going to entertain them with a picture of the rover.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can tell them all about that. Which episode of Chit Chat was it? A browser, and I hate doing that. Let me open up Safari. This is here. We'll go here, there. Okay. Okay. Now I can record again. We got to see the Mars rover. It's going to Mars. Now, I rarely tell you to listen to other people's podcasts, but I'm going to make an exception just this once. Dave Hamilton had the developer of Carbon Copy Cloner, Mike Bombick, on the Mac Geek Gab this week. He didn't have Mike to talk on about the software that he's developed. Rather, he had him on to explain how the new Apple file system, APFS, has repercussions most of us, including Dave, hadn't really thought about. For example, did you know that if you duplicate large files and then back up your system to external media that's larger than your internal disk, you could actually be creating a backup that you cannot migrate back to your internal drive? Now, it's a bit of a nerdy episode to explain why that kind of thing happens, but it's a case of the repercussions could hit you whether you're nerdy enough to understand it or not. So it's a fantastic episode, and I highly recommend it. It's important what he's teaching, and it's really, really interesting. And Dave asks all the right questions. John F. Brown is there, of course, as well, asking a couple of questions, but it's mostly Dave and Mike talking, and the information is really, really interesting. Okay, Kaylee's frustration. Copy link. Save and add chapter markers. All right. Whoop, nope. Kaylee's frustration. Why do I have to put 2 titles in here? There's the chapter title, and then there's the blog post title, and then there's the blog post. Do I have to put it in 3 times?
You got me.
Oh my. Mars rover Marty, that's awesome. Okay, here we go. Let's start up by listening to Kaylee on her latest frustration. Okay, here comes Kaylee. Oh, this is going to be a long show.
Yep. We have to keep some people after class.
Oh, I'm almost positive. Well, I'm not doing much of the content, so that'll help.
Oh, that's true.
Here we go. On her latest frustration.
Oh, Katie, yeah, and I'm definitely a geek. I'm not sure if it's nostalgia, genuine curiosity, frustration with current products, or a desire to shake up the monotony of my gadget life, but as of late, I've been exploring some of my favorite Apple products from days gone by.
That's all you get.
Wow. Tease.
Yep. It is a tease. Now I can make sure this is the right one. So at the end, so basically what she's talking about in this is she gets into how frustrated she is that you have to throw away your AirPods after 2 years because the batteries are dead.
Oh.
But that's all a story for another time. Although I will say, a little birdie tells me that perhaps it is possible to make AirPods-like headphones with replaceable batteries? Tell me more, Allison. And until next time, 이저 Katie 데시다. Bye-bye!
I love the way she does that.
Bye!
Okay. So she's complaining because you have to throw away your AirPods because the batteries are dead. And I am going to show her this. She recorded that in her closet today so we could set this story up. Okay, so let's see. Maybe I'll just call this Akuva. And I'll just do the full title there. And then I'll paste that back there. That's what I'll save. All right. Oh, shoot. I need another thing open here. Hang on. CS 2020. I need to mount our Drobo. Just one moment. You can talk if you want, Steve. While we wait for the Drobo.
Yeah, more about the Mars 2020 rover. This is the first time we will have on Mars video. They've done kind of fake video where they stitch together, time lapse, but real video, high res video, and a microphone, so we'll pick up audio from the surface of Mars.
So we'll be able to hear the Martian.
Well, or the little dust devils running around down there, those little mini tornadoes that are.
We're gonna hear. You know what we're gonna hear? We're gonna hear the noise that they heard in Jurassic Park when the little tiny. I don't know what they were. The little tiny dinosaurs were all converging about to attack them.
Yeah. The other thing you'll be able to hear, that high power laser that shoots the rocks and vaporizes them to collect the vapor that comes off.
Yeah.
They will be able to hear that and analyze the type of rock that it is striking by the sound.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
I heard that later in another interview.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's got some purpose. Anyway.
Back to work.
Bye-bye!
Recently, Kaylee did a review on the NosillaCast talking about how aggravated she is that she has to throw away her perfectly functioning AirPods because the batteries don't work anymore. So I hunted down a company called Akuva that is working on headphones with replaceable batteries, but this isn't a headphone that's like the size of a small piece of bread.
Exactly.
So I'm with Amy Jackson right now.
Yeah. So we're more the size of a pea. So we can solve that battery.
Okay. All right, we're at 17 minutes. I've only got 5 more bits to play here.
You can do it, Podfeet.
All right, here we go.
So Sandy, we didn't actually hear the sound, the earpods. They're still kind of in development.
Okay, I'm about to say exactly that. So
okay.
Type Steve. Well, I do have to say that the Akuva headphones, while intriguing, are very much in the prototyping stage right now. And in fact, Amy told us after we finished recording that they're working on the tooling. So if you look at them in the video, you'll see they're not really productized yet. One other thing too, Joe asked her Joe LaGreca was with us, That's who I forgot to mention at the beginning. Joe LaGreca was with us at during most of the show, and he asked her after the interview how long the batteries will last in the charging case, which I hadn't asked about. And her answer was 2 years. So I'm afraid that even with this innovative method to give us replaceable battery earbuds, we might still have a dead product after the same 2 years. Now, note that for AirPods, Apple does sell replacement cases for $59 for the non wireless version, $69 for the wireless one, and $89 for the AirPods Pro case. Anyway, just something to keep in mind. Maybe Akuva can work on having the batteries in the case replaceable as well. All right.
Kevin requests a save.
A save? I haven't done the chapter marks yet.
Well, you should.
All
What
right.
happened to that automation script?
Yeah, it doesn't work. That was in starts with Keyboard Maestro.
Ah.
So I was talking about the fragility. All right. Here. When we were at one of the press events, Niha Zoshi recognized me from our YouTube videos and told me that she really enjoys our CES coverage. She explained that she had a product at CES as well and asked if we could stop by her booth. I'm really glad we did because I'm going to play that interview for you right now. Okay. See if I can remember. Yeah, I tried really hard not to go to Eureka Park, and almost everything we saw was at Eureka Park. But anyway, here we go. Let's hear that transition interview for you right now.
We're going to talk about a subject that is something unusual for a tech podcast, but we're going to talk about menstrual pain. Now, I'd like everybody, we're just going to take a heartbeat, make all your little fifth grade jokes in your head right now about this subject, and then realize that we're talking about something that affects, I would say, approximately 50% of the population of the earth. So I'm here with Niha Zoshi, and she's going to talk about a device that they're developing here to alleviate menstrual pain.
Absolutely. Hi, Allison, and thank you so much for covering us. This is a very small portable device. We are a Silicon Valley-based company, a startup. We are Captain Group, so we.
Okie dokie. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Let me get rid of that. I think I'll do that. All right. Come on. Why are you not going to the end of this bit? Oh, yeah, it's going to be a long show. So that was 2416.
Thank you so much, Allison.
So at the tail end of this episode, you're going to hear Bart talking in security bits about a podcast that he recommended called Hackable. And they had a section on, or the episode that he recommended was about phishing. And I happened to listen to it while I was power washing our sidewalk this afternoon. And it occurred to me that when Niha walked up to me and said she recognized me from my YouTube videos and that she really, really liked them and she liked our CES coverage, my first thought was, wow, not that many people listen to it or watch those. So I'm really kind of surprised that somebody would recognize me. And then I realized this afternoon, she never said, I like your podcast. She never said anything about pod feet. She didn't mention Forbes and cake pops. I actually think she might have very cleverly tricked me into going to her booth. And I mean, I say good on her. She did a good job. And I really thought she was someone who had watched us, but I am just willing to bet that she didn't. But in any case, I think it was an interesting interview and an important product. So I'm glad she did her fishing, if that's what it was. If it wasn't, hi Niha, I'm glad you saw me. So I thought that was pretty funny when I realized that. I think she did fish me, which is hilarious.
But in a nice way, not a malevolent way.
Yeah.
Hey, for the next one,
Mhm.
you might
What?
want to play through through midway. What do you think? Do you have time?
Yeah, I don't know where it is in that.
I can tell you. I'm looking right now.
Okay, or we could put the video into the. Okay, yeah, just let me know where it is.
So
Okay,
it's
I'm gonna do a little.
About 3:30 in.
Okay, add that to 25:30. Would that be 20? Well, hang on. Wait till I do this little setup and then tell me. I'll tell you a number. You add your number and then tell me where to go look.
All right.
Okay, here we go. This next interview was probably in our top 5 interviews we did at CES. Now, it's not just because the products are awesome, which they are, but it's also because of something awesome and hilarious that happened in the middle of the interview. You're going to be able to understand this from listening, but you might also want to go back and watch the video we put on podfeed.com afterwards to see exactly how funny all of this was. Okay, so I'm at 25:54.
So say 26, 20, 25, 26, 20.
Okay, so you as the setup, you guys, this is going to be the Sandman Doppler clock, and we've talked about Sandman a couple of times before. So let me hit this. All of this was.
Well, you've heard us talk the virtues of Sandman before. Last year and a couple years before that, it's a clock.
Okay, sorry, you told me what number and I didn't pay attention to it. 26 plus 3.5, 29.5?
26, 20.
Wait. That would be 20 seconds after it starts.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It starts at about 26 minutes.
All right, 26, so 3:29. What time are you at again?
25:55.
So 28:55, 29:20.
29:20.
Roughly.
Okay. 29:20. All right. I hope it's before it happens. Here we go. All right.
And Steve is no longer filming.
Oh, maybe 10 seconds before that.
Yeah, that's a lot off. Okay.
A clock.
So since this is going to live by your bedside,
right,
there's a couple uses which I really like. So now that I have one, sorry, Shaquille O'Neal is standing right behind us, and Steve is no longer filming Alex whatsoever. He's just talking it's
to
cool.
Shaq.
I'm just as big, I weigh just as much, and I'm just as impressive. Let's be honest.
Okay, this is going to be the best interview ever. We were actually.
That was a fun moment.
Actually, I'll do this at the end. I'm gonna add a couple of things to the end of this. Okay.
Wrong about 3 times.
Okay, so that was hilarious in the middle when Shaq was there. But the other funny thing that happened is right after we were done talking to Alex, his 2 of his employees came. He was the CEO. 2 of his employees come running over and they go, "Oh my gosh, Alex! He was at our booth while you were talking to her. He was like, he gave us his card. He's talking about he's going to put Sandman in his hotels or his restaurant or something like that. And he was going crazy with us, talking to us. It was so cool." And he just looks at me and he's like, "And I was talking to you?" You know, it was really, really funny. I enjoyed the heck out of that. Another thing I want to make sure I tell people is last year, they talked about the Sandman Doppler. And so I said, well, we asked him on the side afterwards, I thought you talked about that last year. And he explained to us that they had 2 separate critical part manufacturers go out of business and stop making the critical parts they had. So that's why they still haven't come out. And I know at least Bart at the very least has pre-ordered it and was kind of like, yeah, when is that thing coming out? So now they're actually coming out. So he had real good reasons why, but he explained what they've done. And he was super nerdy. He had like the actual circuit boards there to point at the parts that weren't there. So anyway, we had a lot of fun with Alex, and I think it was great. All right, Alex or Jen, I think I'll cut that. Got to do a chapter mark anyway. Okay. Yeah, it's actually a Steve. It's got Alexa built in, so it's a smart speaker and stuff.
Yeah, but they were asking about the name Doppler, where that came from. I think it's just because they added audio that they use the word Doppler. I don't. It's not clear what Doppler is referring to.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a speaker on either side.
Right.
Okay, so now we've got an interview by Alistair. Let's switch gears away from CES for a little bit, and I'm going to play for you an that's what happens when I ad-lib. We'll squitch. Jeez. This is why I'm scripted. Let's switch gears a little bit here. Alistair Jenks is back with a review of a product he's moved to in order to divorce himself from the clutches of Adobe for photo editing and cataloging. All right. Squitch. Squitch is a good word. We should use that. Okay, so I did that, and I did that, and I did that. Okay, and then where is Alistair? That's DxO. That's this one. And yeah. Let me play a little bit of that for you while I work on something. And cataloging.
Apple's Aperture was hung out to dry, Adobe's Lightroom changed to a subscription model, and Apple Photos started out and continues to be severely limited. What was I going to do to manage and process my growing DSLR photo collection? Initially, I found Luminar from Skylum. At the time, it didn't have a digital asset management or DAM capability, but it was promised. Once the DAM arrived, it was passable but lacked key features I needed. Those features were also promised, but I gave up waiting when a whole new version was released with sexy new AI features, while still lacking some basics in the DAM functionality.
Okay, that's all you get of Alistair.
I like that DAM functionality.
Yep. Oh, I hate talking right after him, especially since I'm going to come in on that. Not only that, I'm going to come in on that the mic from CES, which is not the best voice in the world here.
Hey, give yourself some credit. JF likes your instrument, your voice.
He does.
Yes,
yeah, JF was very, very nice. He when we had dinner with him, we were talking about recording and stuff, and he said nice things about my instrument. You know, you never like your own voice, but now I do. Actually, this isn't going to end up as long as I thought. But okay, let's see. I think I'll do the chapter mark here. Chapter marks. Boy, I'm getting done faster than I thought.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be keeping people late at all because I am literally doing no work.
Maybe an early show.
I love the first few months of the year where Steve does all the work. Let's see. Hang on. Okay, there we go. This sounds really, really interesting, and I'm certainly glad there's an alternative to Adobe. You know, I've got no love lost with them. Well, Frank Petrie, also known as Wheels in the chat room, asked Steve and me if we'd check out the Segway S-Pod at CES. It was a fun interview, but this is definitely a future device, not something that would be at all practical in today's world, but they talk about it being smart for maybe a future smart city. Right. Segway. Right, here we go. Uh-oh. Smart city.
I'm sitting in a Segway S-Pod right now, and I am flanked by Julie Tang and Fuchen Wu, and they're going to tell you about this device I'm sitting in. It is a some sort of transportation device. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so this is actually the concept product we're bringing to CES for the very first time. And it's a first-class personal transporting pod, takes you from places to places with comfort.
So I'm sitting down basically in a very lovely reclining, you know, a nice little chair here, and I've got on a lovely helmet, so I'm safe, of course. But how do I actually move around in this?
Yeah, so there's a knob right there. So unlike the other Segway traditional self-balancing product, you have to lean forward and go forward, lean back, go backward. For this one, you simply just, push the little knob forward and, you'll go forward, and push it back, you'll go backward.
Yeah, so it was huge. How wide was that thing, Steve?
Well, it was probably a foot wider than a normal wheelchair might be. I'm guessing
Yeah, at
6
least.
inches on a side. You want me to pull up a photo?
Yeah. Take a screenshot of, or if that's easy to do.
I'll bring up Final Cut and we'll just grind this thing to a halt.
Drop something in there. Yeah, it was a beautiful thing. They showed pictures of it, like concept sketches of it in a smart city where there's no cars and stuff like that. I don't know that it would it be super comfortable or work particularly well in a city environment today. I mean, you couldn't ride it on the sidewalk. There's no question.
No. Here, I think I got something I can share.
Definitely one size fits all. Steve's bringing up his picture. Here it comes.
Save the frame.
Okay. Oh, so it's 2 wheels, so Frank won't have to change his screen name. It's not wheel.
Right. It's coming. Those bits are churning.
Man, excitement. Wasn't that exciting?
Yeah.
Maybe I should do.
I am loaded tonight. I mean, my machine is loaded tonight.
Oh, yeah, your machine's probably not as powerful as mine. You know what we need to do? We need to do a speed test between your machine and mine now.
Yeah. All right, there it is. So look at how much space is on either side of Allison's hips.
Yeah, they said, I mean, well, I'm a tiny little wisp of a thing.
Svelte.
I'm a gazelle. Yeah, how big did they say? They said up to 300 pounds, I think?
330 or something, yeah.
Yeah. I like the helmet. I think I look good in it. All right, I'm going to do pledge break while you guys blather around here. I mentioned earlier that one of my criteria for interviews was to find practical things at CES that you might actually want to buy. Now, we didn't play any of those recordings this week, but the good news is that as we release the recordings, I'll be putting in Amazon affiliate links to any of the currently available products. If you do decide that any of the products we talk about sound like something you need or want, I'd love it if you'd use the provided links. This way, if you buy the product or anything else on Amazon while you're there in that same session, a small percentage of what you spend will go towards funding the production of the Podfeed podcast. Each little bit is pretty small, but because so many of you are awesome about using the Amazon affiliate links, it actually adds up to real money and it doesn't cost you a dime. We now return to our regularly scheduled programming. There we go. Security bits.
So did they even give an expected price for that S-Pod?
I didn't even ask.
I think it was way too soon. It was a concept. So
yeah. I mean, you remember when Dean came and first brought up the Segway, it was like 8 years later they actually came out with it.
Right.
So I think, okay. Security bits. This is Security Bits January 2020. Man, I'm not having to do nothing this week. I'd written more and I cut it back because I don't know, it just sounded like we had so much fun.
So even though the live show may be short, how this show, the podcast is going to be how long?
We're at 49 minutes right now, and I'm about to drop in Security Bits, which is, I hate how Apple has wrecked this, an hour and 8 minutes.
All right.
And by the way, Bart starts by trying to explain that he's working on a method to make the amount of work he puts into Security Bits be shorter, smaller.
Good. No, I think he needs it.
Yeah, right. But the funny thing is this is like way longer.
Oh, I see. Irony.
I mean, not way longer, but it's a 4-week week. You know, it's been 4 weeks since he's been on the show.
So a few security items have occurred since then?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
He actually said I did a pretty good job. What was it I talked about last week that broke? He had said at the end of his bit that as long as nothing big hit, that would be the end of it. But then something big hit last week and I had to cover it. And he said I did a good job.
Good job.
Yeah. Okay, let's pull these two in here. See how that sounds. How about right there?
Wisecam.
I do audio bites. What's that?
Was it the Wisecam breach?
Oh.
Was that it?
Oh, maybe it was. So that would explain why he didn't talk about it a lot. He talked about it a little bit. Yeah, you're right, Jill. Thank you. Programming. Well, it's that time of the week again. It is nailed time for Security Bits with Bart Busschots. In fact, it's way past time. You took a whole week off, and so now we got 4 weeks worth of Security Bits going, right, Bart?
I think we do, because we wibbly wobbly timey wimeyed one, and then we took one out. So I think it's been 4 weeks.
Yeah, we split it. That's right, I split it, right?
Yeah. So actually, you did a great job, by the way, of I can't remember what news developed in the week between our two recordings being played, but I think I set the second part up. But if something horrific has happened, we won't know about it. But I'm sure Alison will insert something here, and you did, and it was really well done. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Oh, good. I'm always worried when I take your chair, or your mic, I should say.
No, it was good. It was good. So, yeah, it's been a while. Also, the start of a new decade. I'm continuing to scribble on every piece of physical paper. I write 201. Scribble. 2. So there's gonna be some changes to this segment for the new decade. So 2 things. The first off is I am changing my personal branding for all of the creative stuff I do. It is all going to come under the name Bartificer Creations. So that will be the podcasting, the open source, the taming the terminal, all of the creative stuff I do is coming under Bartificer Creations. And over time, it's going to take a little bit of doing, but I'm basically going to split off all that stuff into bartificer.net and keep bartb.ie just for personal stuff.
Oh, okay. That's so you can have your opinions, because that's Bart, not your company.
Yeah, and it's just the creative stuff is not the same as personal stuff, and it's just nice to be able to point someone at basically my portfolio of useful things I do, the software, the podcasting, that kind of stuff. It's nicer to keep those two separate, and then I can be an opinionated blowhard without making everyone cranky.
All right.
And then the other thing is I am refocusing this segment. The original idea, the logic behind it was that it should be security news for regular people. That was the brief you gave me all those years ago.
Right.
And it was that, but it started to get a bit fuzzier again. And then when I got into this idea of suggested reading, it became really fuzzy, because that was my excuse to put anything in. And without really thinking about it, I was conflating 2 things. Stuff that's relevant to me as an IT professional and stuff that's relevant to the NosillaCastaways. They're not the same thing.
Right.
So I'm going to continue to read all of the stuff that's relative to me as an IT professional, because I am an IT professional. But it doesn't all have to go in here. I don't have to find a home for every link. So while these show notes do not look shorter, they are 4 weeks worth, not 2.
Okay.
I've also, for the most part, found alliterative titles for everything. And the hope really is that I've tried to refocus on the NosillaCastaways. And in keeping everything relevant to the NosillaCastaways, why might you care? You're not going to care about everything. No one does. But why might you care? What is the context for this? And anything that doesn't have a context is just not coming into the notes anymore. It's not going to clutter things up. So I'm hoping the focus will do 2 things. It should make the show notes quicker and easier for me to write, and it should make them more useful to everyone. So I think that's a win-win.
Yeah, that does sound good. Does this make your job any easier? Because I know you spend a tremendous amount of time on this for us.
The theory is yes. This has been a bad experiment, right? Because this is 4 weeks worth of news, so it's really hard to judge. But 2 weeks from now,
I looked at the notes. I'm like, Bart, how is this easier for you?
actually, to be honest, it is actually, because the stuff has more logical structure to it. But anyway, 2 weeks from now will tell a tale as to whether or not my theory is in any way vaguely relevant. But I think it is. I think this will work. I think these notes will be easier, and I think listeners will actually get more out of it. So we shall see.
Yeah,
Feedback appreciated.
From a listener perspective, and I count myself as one of those, even though I'm here right now. It feels like, this only takes you an hour, because that's how long it takes us to record it. That's not how long it takes to create it, right?
No, that's not how these things work. As anyone who's ever had to prepare notes for class or something knows, it takes quite a few more hours go into the creation than the reading of it. But in theory, it should be less of my time going into it, because I need to make it a little bit more me time for this decade.
Yeah.
I was burning the candles at both ends, and it turns out you can only do that for so long.
Well, one of the things I think about a lot is that when you were heavy set and sedentary and had your health threatened, we had lots of time together, right?
Yeah.
There
Oh,
was
yeah.
plenty of time to screw around and chat and do fun little projects. But now that you're healthy and fit, and that takes time, you have to move things around. You can't still do everything you want to do if you want to choose that, and choosing that will make you live longer. So let's do that.
Yeah, and also it's just better for your mental and physical health. That time, I mean, it is time, right? It's every day I spent time exercising, but that time is both mind and body time. It does both.
Yeah.
And it's really
Yeah.
important. I don't know how
Yep.
people can sort out their thoughts without doing exercise.
Yeah, you got to have time to think, right?
You've got to have think time, yeah. Whether you're jogging along a nice beach in California or cycling through the wind and rain in Ireland, it's that's thinking time. It's important. Anyway,
Really?
we
Well,
got mail. We don't often get
we
mail,
got
but we got mail.
Yeah, we got some feedback from Desmond from Singapore. All right. There, you got to hear the introduction. They're not cinematic magic, that's for sure. My next goal is use tech to help me get fit. Well, Bart sure talks about a lot of tech he uses. Uh-oh. That's what I meant to do. There we go. Let's see, is that stay patched so you stay secure?
Until next time, stay patched so you stay secure.
All right. I need the name of that podcast. What was the name of the podcast?
NosillaCast.
NosillaCast. Yes, dear. It was very good. Where did it go?
Which podcast? I guess if you knew, you could say.
It's Hackable, I think. But where is it? Oh, there it is. Hackable. All right. Bart's website's really pretty. That's the first time I've looked at it. All right, let's bring it home. Now, you heard me say that I doubted that that podcast Bart talked about Hackable and talking about fishing would be fun, but he was right. It was really, really good. And I've gone back and started to listen to a couple other of the episodes of Hackable from McAfee. In fact, that's what gave me the idea that perhaps I got fished at CES. Anyway, that is going to wind us up for this week. Don't forget to send in your dumb questions. You can still do that. And comments and suggestions. And you can email me at allison@podfeed.com. Follow me on Twitter @podfeed. Remember, everything good starts with podfeed.com. You want to become a patron of the Podfeed podcast? Podfeed.com/Patreon. You want to do a one-time donation at PayPal? Podfeed.com/PayPal. You want to join our Facebook group? Podfeed.com/Facebook. Want to join our Slack community where Bart hangs out, as he mentioned? Podfeed.com/Slack. Want to find the Amazon affiliate links? Podfeed.com/Amazon. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, head on over to podfeed.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Whew, there we go. Poor Steve. Yeah, with his aging iMac, right? Does anybody know what?
What's wrong with my iMac?
Nothing. I'm just teasing. I just figured it's time for Kevin to start harassing me.
Ah.
He likes to start that about a year in advance, right?
Yeah, or 2.
Or 2.
Whatever it takes.
Mine groans. Oh, my scale used to just laugh. Nice. Let's see. How's it? And stay subscribed. Okay, that was pretty good. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to go up a little bit. See what that sounds. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. And we are a wrap, and it closes at 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 36 seconds.
Wait.
Should I record for 20
Did
seconds
you say
more at the end?
1 hour, 59 minutes?
And 36 seconds.
So almost 2 hours.
Yeah. Should I record for 20 more seconds?
Are you
just to
kidding?
get it?
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to add a little audio at the end just so it can be 2 hours. What do you think?
How many seconds do you need to record?
24 seconds. Okay. No talking. Here we go. Hey, to anybody who listened at the end, I just realized that if I record for 24 more seconds, I can have the show be exactly 2 hours long. So I'm just going to talk here and blather for no apparent reason because I don't believe we have ever hit the 2 hour mark before. So let's see. We're down to 3, 2, 1, 0. I went a little slow.
You did it.
I did it. The first 2 hour show. I hope it comes out at exactly 2 hours. Sometimes the times don't line up. Let's see what we get here. All right. Well, it is 5:52 and I'm actually going to let you guys go early. I am happy everybody came. It was fun. Any applauds the lady in the corner. Okay, so you had some audio from Paul Blart. We need to see this Blart thing, Steve.
Yeah, Mall Cop. Paul.
Yeah, it was great to see you too, Dave.
Yes.
Yeah,
Dave.
Mall Cop. Maybe we should rent it tonight. Maybe you guys should go find that podcast. What was it? The World According to Blart or something like that?
This is the one that they play annually.
Yeah, it was hilarious. He made a point of it wasn't just that they that it's till the end of their lives. It's till the end of time. So they are making plans for who's going to take over after. There it is. Till Death Do Us Blart is the name of the podcast.
I think it's the end of linear
Oh, it's
time.
not even Mall Cop. It's Mall Cop 2. The creators of My Brother, and Me and the Worst Idea of All Time review the film Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 every American Thanksgiving from now until the end of linear time. They may never yield. They will never be free. This is their curse. This is their podcast. Oh my gosh. They've done it since 2015.
Wow.
2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019.
Are they finding like new meanings and messages every year they review this?
I don't know. Let's see what the info looks. It's American Thanksgiving once more, and so the grim task of forcing Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 into their eyeballs and ears. This year features some bold new approaches to consuming the movie, and for being honest, some mistakes were made. Enjoy. Current hosts.
In the previous podcast or the movie?
I don't know, Steve. I'm just. Oh my gosh. There's a Paul Blart Mooncast, Pod Blart Mallcast, Shopping Malls and Segways. That is funny. All right, let's see how long this show, if it actually came out. I'll find some way to clip it. Otherwise, I'll just clip some of, somebody. Let's see. Did I nail it? 20000. I did it.
Did you really?
That's awesome. Oh, that's good. All right. Well, I thank you all for coming. I think we should let the class go. What do you think, Steve?
Yes. Tesla says we're done.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Where's Rose? Is she still here? I don't see her. Oh, she's still here.
She's
Bye,
in the
Rose.
chat room. She's typing away.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Gracie.